Guys, welcome back to the channel, and as promised, today we are going to be looking at my queen charge hog attack that I did here um, against Legion Hunter. This was in our 5v5 against Bangladesh. So I didn't want to make this into like a base identification video. What I wanted to make this into was more of a why do I choose, and what kind of planning process goes into a base. So this base was a good example because Uh, it wasn't the ideal base for the plan that I used, because I'll go ahead and spoil it. There's double scatter shot in the back end, and I'm going to be using a queen charge hogs, and I'm not going to be charging into that double scatter shot. So I'm going to be ending up there, which is kind of risky for hogs because hogs just don't have the health to kind of tank through that, but we'll get into that. So first things first, we're going to look at the base from like a defensive standpoint, right? So I have enemy queen, enemy king, RC, and warden all next to the town hall. Okay. Then I have 3 ground expos protecting the town hall. Now, what that ends up doing is kind of you can see that they're kind of like baiting this channel, right? They kind of want you to come through this channel because there's no way your queen's going to survive all that. And then just to put the icing on the cake, they have a multi-inferno here. And that multi-inferno is solely there to try to pick off your healers. As your queen comes to this area, your healers will kind of drag around the back end of it, and the multi will pick everything off. So you can see the multi's kind of tilted, or kind of off center to where this outside compartment is. Now I played with the idea of trying to get like a wall break in and then go this way, but ended up just deciding that I was going to use a battle blimp to get that whole compartment. Now with this compartment here, I'm not going to be using a rage because I thought the way I see it in my head is the only difference that a rage will get me is this expo, and it's not worth just getting an expo. Okay, so I don't use a rage. My whole entire goal was just to get these 2 buildings, maybe get some damage off onto the king and the RC, but other than that, it was just for the inferno and just for the air defense. So that's the idea of unlocking this queen charge. So I'm going to kind of make up my own terms for stuff like this, but unlocking the queen charge is basically just going to mean that I can get my queen to take this channel. Even though I believe the channel is heavily baited, I'm going to abuse it anyway. Sometimes, when someone tries to bait an attack, you just got to kind of go for it anyway, because you can outplay the bait, and that's what I kind of do here. Now, I'm going to use like 2 loons and a baby dragon just to funnel my queen, make sure she steps in. So baby dragon here is going to get this down, and that is going to be the other side of my funnel. So 2 loons here on this cannon, get this down, blimp goes in, queen comes this way. Now a key part of using a blimp and using your queen is you don't want to waste any time. So as soon as you get this blimp to go in, you want to get your queen down, get her rocking and rolling pretty early. There's nothing you could do to change the outcome of your blimp. Once it's down, might as well just use it, and that's exactly what I do. Now this sweeper is going to be kind of an issue, because if my queen steps in too deep before she gets to town hall, this is going to be causing a lot of problems for my healers, because obviously we know that the healers don't heal while they're getting pushed by a sweeper. So I was really hoping that my queen would kind of deal with the enemy heroes here while the healers were like back here, and I could punch through. And that was one point of the attack that I was a little bit worried about. But obviously I am extremely worried about all these point defenses and heroes and town hall and CC all being on my queen. So let's start knocking those out one by one. I believe that I can get the CC pull with, well, my plan is to get the CC pull with the blimp, because it extends into the expo range. So I'm assuming that I'll be able to get something in there to get the CC pull. If not, then my 2 loons here with the baby dragon will pull anything that is air targeting out So I'll at least get a somewhat of a CC pull. Okay, so I won't have to deal with everything. Unless it's like a hound and an ice golem or triple ice golem, then it's going to be a rough ride. But that was my idea for getting the CC pull. And the reason why I elected not to use a rage is because I knew I was going to need all three of my rages and both of my freeze spells in order to get through this area of the base. Now, if you look at what I'm taking down here, all the way to here, right? That's my idea with the blimp and the queen. Now, it doesn't really seem like a lot of value out of the base. I still have the Eagle artillery. I showed you the double scatter shots plus 2 infernos, both bomb towers. So it doesn't really seem like I'm getting a lot of value. But I've always kind of said on the channel that when you can deal with all the heroes with your queen charge, you really start opening up options for your hogs. So I knew that if I could deal with all of that, plus the town hall, plus the expo, get this inferno down, get this expo down, that the back end of the base, so let's go ahead and just start highlighting what my queen's going to get. Queen and blimp get everything over here. I'm pretty sure she gets like the bomb tower and the wizard tower down too, but that's what my queen's going to get. I'm going to use my king to clear this way because I thought maybe Teslas will be out here somewhere. So, or at least up top. So if I can get my king to kind of clear this way, that's ideal. He can kind of tank the scatter shot for a little bit. And then I'm going to send my hogs in like this, right? Now, with the warden platform being down, my hog pathing is pretty straightforward because hogs aren't going to go this way because you have these two this gold mine and this gold elixir storage. So hogs are going to come back in towards the eagle, right? So I should have a pretty big healthy group of hogs coming in this way, and then this is where the split's going to take place. So that's going to be around where I want my warden tome to go off. It's not going to be exact, it's going to be a little bit before that, but what that's going to end up doing is freeing up my RC to head up towards these scatter shots with a group of hogs. And because I don't have to deal with those heroes, my RC is going to be doing a lot of work on this base. So the pathing isn't like 100% perfect, but without having to deal with those heroes, my RC can kind of act as her own mini kill squad, right? And I don't have to worry about the Inferno locking on the RC because I'm using like 30 hogs, and it's going to give me a lot of tanking for my RC. So if I can keep everything kind of healed and topped off into this area, then I know hogs can clear that no problem. RC and a couple hogs can clear that no problem. And the pathing is pretty tight for that. King's wrapping up this way. Not going to be a big issue. And I knew that once my queen, as long as I could keep her relatively healthy, once she got down to town hall and all the heroes and stuff, that she would be healthy enough to survive and kind of walk out this way and start cleaning up this outside. So very heavy investment into the queen charge. 3 rages, 2 freezes, and 1 poison. And then only 2 heal spells for the hogs. But you're going to see that that's pretty much all that's needed. Now, there's a couple other reasons why I did not elect to use the hybrid. And I want to just kind of cover those for everyone who might be seeing like that same path would be good for hybrid, because I do generate a relatively smooth path through the base for the hybrid. The reason why I chose not to do so is because in this area here, you have the storage, the gold mine, and then gold mines up here. A bunch of trash buildings kind of interlocked with the defenses. And what I didn't want was for my miners to get held up there while my hogs just kind of like suicide out in front and with the RC. I didn't want that to happen. So I wanted everything to kind of move through in a wave. And then I'm going to go ahead and do something that might make the screen look a little bit messy. But I'm going to just highlight the hogs targets and the RC's targets through the base. And you're going to see that the pathing for the hogs is actually not too bad when you're considering I'm using, almost 40 hogs or 30 hogs. So everything that the queen's going to get down south, I'm going to go ahead and mark that in green. So you're gonna start seeing what I mean by kind of taking your eyes off of the rest of the base, and then my king is gonna, let's say yellow, right? He's gonna get this one building, maybe two. All right, so this is where my pathing starts coming into play. So this is pretty good hog pathing, especially up to the point where they're gonna take that split. So I have a really tight area there. Then as they come through to the eagle area, that's when I'm gonna get my split. But I know that my hogs can survive here, and I know that my hogs can survive here. So whichever way they split, I know that I'll be fine. So while the base looks very wide, when you're using something like hogs, it's not actually that crazy to deal with. Now, if I highlight exactly why I didn't use miners, let's look at what the pathing would have been for hogs and miners coming through this base. So hogs and miners, I'm not going to differentiate between the two, but you're going to see just the increase of the path that they would have to clear out. Not saying that they couldn't do it, but this is everything that they would have to get. That's a lot. That's a lot more because I'm relying on this split at the eagle to go this way and this way for my hogs. But when I'm looking at that for miners, I got to add in these two buildings. I got to add in this building. I got to add in these two buildings. Got to add in the CC if it's not down. So I'm adding a lot more buildings to each of those split groups as opposed to just the defenses. The next thing I want to kind of highlight, and I'm sorry that this is taking kind of long, but I get a lot of requests to kind of explain more of the planning processes. So this is what I'm doing. Another reason why I didn't choose something like the hybrid is because as the hogs move through this base, I'm looking at where could spring traps be, where could giant bombs be. So possibility of spring traps early, but most likely giant bombs in a bomb tower. So I'm going to need a heal there. So that marks off one heal. Now possibility of a giant bomb here, but I'm planning on toming through this area anyway. So that leaves, as we zoom in, giant bomb area, spring traps, giant bomb, spring traps, and a giant bomb. Now, like I said, my queen is going to be getting this bomb tower and this wizard tower down. So that kind of nullifies the possibility of giant bomb really affecting me there. I'm going to have the tome coming through here, so that nullifies the giant bomb here. And then everything else on the outside of the base, really not concerning for hogs. So I'm realistically looking at hitting maybe 3 or 4 spring traps, and they won't be in a position to take down my, it won't get like 6 hogs or 5 hogs with each spring trap. So 30 hogs is plenty to get through this base. All right, so now that we kind of have the idea and the planning behind it, I'm going to go ahead and show you the attack. We'll pause as needed, and then in the next video, I'll be doing a queen charge or not a queen charge hybrid, queen charge miners, and I'm going to discuss why I use that. So just to kind of tie this video into that one, this statement I'm about to make is going to reflect on the next one. In this attack, I'm relying on my queen to do the most damage to the base. In the next one, in the next video, I'm going to be relying on my miners to do the most damage to the base. And that's why I chose miners in that video, and that's why I chose hogs for this video. Let's go ahead and push play, get into the replay. So 6 cocoa loons. I'm going to be using 2 to get that cannon, 2 to get that mortar, and that's going to allow me to use 2 for my queen. And you're going to see that this was definitely a baited alley. They were trying to force me to take this alley because I'm going to pull like 5 seeking air mines. So 2 loons, get the blimp down early, and you can see blimp, I pop it, and then I'm pretty much forgetting about it, get my queen down, get her started nice and early. I know I'm going to get the Inferno. I don't get the CC pull that I wanted, and I don't get the Expo or the air defense. So not the best start, not a big deal. I angle my healers so they won't come in contact, and there's that 2 double cocoa loon, and I pull a big part of the air targeting CC, which is the witch and the archers. Baby Dragon's going to help out with the Witch, which is OP. I'm going to use another Coco Loon, and then you're going to see another Seeking Airline. Boom. Now I'm dealing with the King here outside the base with this first Rage. So the Queen is going to be stepping in here at full health. This Queen charge is going to get very, very shady very, very quickly. So double Ice Golem. I poison early so that my Queen... So I went poison. Oh, sorry. Did not mean to do that. I went poison and Rage because I needed the Town Hall to go down before my Queen engaged these double Ice Golems. So I went like super hard with the spells here, and you're going to see the Queen is taking an absolute beating right now from 3 expos. Gets very low. I freeze the Warden because the Warden is what's doing a lot of damage right here, and I end up freezing the Queen again. And my Queen's going to hit the ability now. Boom. But at this point, she is going to clear the Expo, the Warden, step into this other Expo, and she's going to be safe because I've made it through the goal that I set out for, right? So I hit the ability. There's no more spells I can use. There's nothing else I can do. I'm going to kind of clean up pathing here because I know she's going to get the Expo. So I'm going to use the Hogs, like 3 Hogs here to get this, and then the rest are all coming in this way. I'm not waiting to see if my Queen survives. I'm just going for it. Find the Tornado Trap. Get that first heal down. Now I wanted that heal to be kind of deep because I was worried about giant bombs there. So there's that giant bomb. Now here's the Tome. See how everything came back for this Expo? Now everything's going to push into the Eagle, and that's when you're going to start seeing the split that I was talking about. So everything's pretty much going exactly how I want it right here. Here comes the split. And here we go. So now I have a group of Hogs over here, and I have a group of Hogs over here with the RC. I'm out of heal spells. You know, this is the only group benefiting from this heal. Probably bad heal. I should have angled it like this, but Queen's going to be able to take out that bottom side, so it's not a big deal. But here we go. Now this is where, like I said, you know, going into the double scatter shots isn't ideal for Hogs. But because I knew that I just needed to make it through that Eagle, my RC can clean up the top side. Dealing with a double scatter shot with back end Hogs, not ideal at all. But this is why I said my Queen is going to be the one responsible for the majority of this base. She got the important stuff done. The Hogs were literally just targeted to get to that Eagle, and then the RC can kind of help finish up at the back. King stays alive, bunch of Wizards, Queen still alive, all 5 healers because I used like 4 Coco Loons, so that was OP. Very shaky Queen charge, and I'm going to actually jump back into the base, and I want to highlight the planning of getting into that Eagle. So ×4, Queen's gonna, I mean, this was a crazy Queen charge. I did not expect my Queen to survive after I saw how that started going. When I saw the double Ice Golem, I was very worried, but I just want to highlight one portion of the attack. Kind of comes right when the Queen pops her ability. So this base looks very, very spread, and it is very spread, but it's spread here, right? That's where the actual spread for the base comes in. So realizing that everything was going to collapse onto this point here, and then move to the Eagle as one, and then fan out. My second heal should have been down here instead of like in the center, because there's nothing in the center to heal. But recognizing that point right there, I could have kept all the Hogs here alive. And this is kind of like a, you know, just reevaluating the attack after. This is kind of how you learn. If I would have kept all the Hogs here alive, the attack would have been even more overkill. But don't let all this crap out here distract you from what you can actually see in the base. Just because you can see buildings doesn't mean they matter, right? Those buildings didn't matter at all. This is the pathing that I wanted to take to the eagle, and that's exactly what I did. And this is what like the plant, like the details of the planning goes. Now, granted, I did this attack in like I think 9 minutes into war, so it's not like I sat here for an hour staring at the base. But if you are looking at a base for, a double hit format, say you're in like a league war or something, and you have a couple hours, I highly recommend that you actually go in there and you actually draw out these plants. Like mark out on your tablet exactly where you want to go. Look where those giant bomb spots are going to be. Look where those spring traps probably going to be. Are you getting the heroes? You know, actually mark those out. And you're going to notice that you're going to start being able to read bases faster and faster. And that's exactly what happened here. 9 minutes into war, I looked at this base. I always have queen charge hogs cooked. So it's not like I had to recook. But I found a base that it would work on. And that's the first thing that jumped out to me is this little pathing area right here. This is very good hog pathing. And now if I'm looking at it and I see all these buildings here, this doesn't look like very good pathing because it's so wide. But I'm using hogs, so I have to get rid of all these buildings that don't matter for hogs. Then I can really start identifying where my hogs are going to go. That looks much better than this, right? So take the time and actually do that. Don't let like how big a base is kind of dissuade you. Cut the base down, figure out what you're going to use, and then a big resource that a lot of the quote professional players have that a lot of regular players don't have is the addition of their clanmates. So in big wars, you have 4 other very talented players helping you with plannings on these bases. So if you're not in that scene and you don't have, like 4 amazing guys that can kind of see all this with you, then be that guy for your clan. I got very good at planning by helping other people plan. And that's where you got to start. So that's my big tip for today. Draw out your plan, draw out the defenses, draw out your pathing, use different colors, make it a Christmas tree if you need to, and then help your other clanmates do the same thing. And you're going to notice like drastic improvement in your overall planning when you start doing that. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Kind of more in depth than I usually like to take it. Not really a base identification, but just kind of like a why I use this troop identification and my planning process. So hope you guys enjoyed it. Like, comment, subscribe, share it with your friends, share it with your clanmates. I highly recommend you guys getting into planning it with each other. And then obviously if you're already in like a like a CWL clan or something, you guys are already doing that, so keep it up. Big shout out to my wife. Very, very, very amazing things that you've been doing, taking care of all 4 kids. We got 4 amazing kids, y'all, and they're from like 11 down to 1. So I don't know how she does it and has the time to do all this stuff. So I can't really emphasize how much I appreciate it, but I really do, baby. All right, guys, catch you on the next one.